Man, you gotta love the website zerohedge.com. There's no other site like it that just puts out the hardcore, raw truth, financial, economic, etc. in your face, take it or leave it. And they had an article here from a couple days ago. And as I said, God, I should play some of my old videos just so people realize back when I was saying it, nobody was looking at it. No one was looking at Spain. No one was looking at Portugal. The focus was just barely on Greece. Well, Spain's taking the spotlight, or fixing to take the spotlight from Greece here shortly. And the bottom line is, how do you go from posting a $41 million profit, saying, oh yeah, here, we made a $41 million profit, here's what all of our books show we made. Oh, great. And then all of a sudden, well, actually we have to revise that. Revise it? Yeah. You made more? No. Matter of fact, we lost $3.3 billion. $41 million profit, up revision, because we cooked the books. $3.3 billion loss. Am I on planet Earth right now? Or am I somewhere else? I'm just talking to my boss on the phone. He says, man, you see how the market's up? Commodities are down, gold, silver, and other commodities are all down. And but man, the market's up. The banks, most of the banks were up actually. He's like, why? He said, did you hear why they said the market was up? Housing, some kind of housing number. Oh, housing, great. And he says, housing? What housing? What housing are they talking about that made the market go up? I said, I know. It's like, someone farts, market rallies. The Prime Minister of Japan or China yawned on accident right in the middle of mid-sentence. He yawned. Markets rally. No, he just yawned. He didn't say anything. Oh, well, markets rally anyways. This is absurd. So, Zero Hedge, and I'm going to get to the title of this video in a second. I'm going to start it with this. It is rather amazing what one finds when a company which previously had allegedly posted a profit of $41 million somehow becomes insolvent, needs a nationalization to avoid a full-out liquidation, and gets bailed out by the country or the state. One of the first things one finds is that the profit pitched to that particular class of gullible idiots known as shareholders was an outright lie. And yes, on that one very rare occasion when an auditor refuses to sign off on a bank's financials, aka we cook the books and you're the auditor with a nice hefty paycheck, we need you to sign off on this, partner. Come on, sign off. Sign off on the $41 million profit? Yeah. But I just use QuickBooks or any multitude of financial software products, and they show that we lost 3.3 billion with a B. I know, but you're the financial auditor, sign off. That's like saying, man, I sold something today and I made $43 on it. Good, I'm up above, I made a profit. Oh, great. Up, later on, revision of $43, I miscalculated. Wasn't quite $43. Oh, what was it, 20 or 30 bucks? No, it was actually like I lost $3,300 net loss. So you thought you made $43 profit, but you lost $3,300 instead. Yeah, that's what the numbers show. And your numbers were that far off the first time that you just somehow one little calculation went wrong. That's the difference, by the way, of 34 million to 3.3 billion. It would be the same thing as $34 versus $3,300. So the net result is that a 3.3 billion euro, by the way, dollar euro loss rather than 43 million euro profit. Just in a statement to the stock exchange regulator, BFA said that the restated loss reflected a review of its loan portfolios and capital needs after a new audit and as part of the cleanup plan implemented by the government. Right, so no more cooking the books right now. We need to really look at your numbers. Oh, okay, you're insolvent. Have a nice day. Now, for the title of this video, taxpayers now stand behind derivatives clearinghouses. We are on the hook, aka you and I, via the Federal Reserve, who will be printing money out of control, just like Europe's going to. We are now, basically, in 2008, we had AIG. Remember that? The insurance company. Why is an insurance company being bailed out? Well, because the banks would have lost their rear ends and went under because of all the derivatives and crap that they were betting on back then, which was just a tiny percent of what it is now, by the way. And rather than have them lose, we need them to get paid on these bets that were lost. So AIG insured those bets. We're bailing out AIG. That's what this was about. And right now, you can look at the clearing houses like the CME group for the COMEX. Yeah, they could be looked at as an AIG. Let me read this. Little noticed is that on Tuesday, which was last week they were talking about, Team Obama took its first formal steps toward putting taxpayers behind Wall Street derivatives trading. Not behind banks that might make mistakes in derivatives markets, but behind the trading itself. Yes, the same crew that rails against the dangers of derivatives is quietly positioning these financial instruments, derivatives, through directly above the taxpayer safety net. As we noted in May 2010, the authority for this regulatory achievement was inserted into Congress's pending financial reform bill known as the Dodd-Frank Act, and later, of course, signed by Mr. President Obama. One part of the law forces much of the derivatives market into clearinghouses that stand behind every trade, such as the CME group. Mr. Dodd's pet provision creates a mechanism for bailing out these clearinghouses when they run into trouble. CME group, you run into trouble? Don't worry about it, we'll bail you out. Specifically, the law authorizes the Federal Reserve to provide, quote, discount and borrowing privileges to clearinghouses in emergencies. Traditionally, the ability to borrow from the Fed's discount window was reserved for only banks, but then the new law made clear that a clearinghouse, such as the CME Group, receiving assistance was not required to be or become a bank or bank holding company. To get help, they only needed to be deemed, quote, systemically important by the new Financial Stability Oversight Council, chaired by the Treasury Secretary. Last year, regulators finalized rules for how they would use this new power. On Tuesday, they began using it. The Financial Stability, and that was last week, the Financial Stability Oversight Council secretly voted to proceed toward inducting several derivatives clearinghouses into the too big to fail club. After further review, regulators will make final designations probably later this year and will announce publicly the names of institutions deemed systemically important. Boy, I can't wait to see which institutions those are. We're told that the clearinghouses of Chicago's CME Group and Atlanta-based Intercontinental Exchange were voted systemic this week. And rumor has it that the council may even designate a London-based company known as LCH ClearNet as critical to the U.S. financial system. And if it's critical to the United States financial system, it's also a systemic problem. Therefore, it's also covered under this new law. That was, we were told this is for the people. This is so this mistake in 2008 can't happen again. We can help clean up some of the mess. And here they are making the banker bailout look childish when you add up the derivatives club bailout. Because the derivatives combined are over $700 trillion plus. Many people say it's over $1 quadrillion. There's not even that amount of money in the entire GDP of the whole earth combined, yet there's somehow that number. So when we got all pissed off about the $800 billion TARP fund, banker bailout fund, whatever we called it, right? And then we found out later the Federal Reserve increased its balance sheet by 2.3 or 2 point something trillion dollars. And then later on it came out after that the 800 billion was nice, the 2.3 trillion was even nicer. There's $16 trillion in the initial audit that Senator Bernie Sanders did, preliminary, of the Federal Reserve, and where its money that it created basically went to both U.S. and over the pond Europe banks and financial institutions to the tune of $16 trillion. And you can take the 16 trillion, the 2.3 trillion, the 800 billion, combine all that garbage, and it is a speck of sand in a 5-gallon bucket full of sand, which is the derivatives market. So now they're saying any one of these entities that deals with, touches, looks at derivatives could be systemic if any of them go, and we can't have that. Therefore, we have the right to keep them afloat at any and all costs. It's basically a national security issue, which in fact it's not. It's just debt. But they want us to think that it is, and we can't have this happen, so we're just going to keep bailing out bailouts indefinitely. Not for everybody, only for our guys in the club, because our club is the one that caused the problem. And you think the club's going to realize, well, we can just bet even more recklessly than we did, say, just recently, JP Morgan, the Greek debt, European debt, they lost that bet. 2 trillion, 3 trillion, we're up to 4 or 5, or billion, excuse me, 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion losses for JP Morgan. Who cares? I got the back door to the Fed. I made a bet. Tails I win, or heads I win, tails you lose. That's the game. So why wouldn't they gamble? If you could sit with unlimited supply cash and keep betting, up double the bet, still lost, double the bet again, double that bet again. Oh, I won. Oh, good, give us our money back for all the bets you lost. No, that's my money. I won, sucker. Get your taxpayer hands off of there, you peasants. It's my money. Oh. And since I got so much money, I'm going to start betting with it again. Bet, lost, bet, lost, bet, lost. Damn it, all my money's gone. Federal Reserve, open that door. Thank you. Bet, lost, bet, lost, bet. Oh, finally won one. JP Morgan, third quarter profit report. Oh, it's fantastic. Really? Because the Federal Reserve just kept pumping money into this dying corpse. Oh, okay. So the final paragraph says, U.S. taxpayers thinking that they couldn't possibly be forced to stand behind overseas derivatives trading will not be comforted by the remarks from Commodities Futures Trading Commission, known as the CFTC, Mr. Chairman Gary Gensler. On Monday, he emphasized his determination to extend Dodd-Frank Act derivatives regulation to overseas markets when subsidiaries of U.S. firms are involved, which basically means absolutely, because they are always involved. So if you think this is going to change if Obama gets reelected, obviously it's not, because it would have changed by now. He signed this into law already. So you see what side he's on. If Romney wins, because the same exact people are financially backing him as well, there's not a chance in hell that anything I just read you would change, or will change if he wins, or will be done away with if he wins, or some new regulation comes out that fixes all this. No, if anything new comes out, it'll be the same spin crap that we get today. We've got to come up with a new, Bozo and Bozo Act, Financial Freedom Act of America 2013, and this is going to protect the taxpayers, to protect them from the derivatives meltdown that just occurred in 2012 and part of 2013, which was then protected by the Dodd-Frank Act, which was supposed to protect from the 2008 crisis, which was also supposed to be protected from years of regulatory things that were passed before that, which were dismantled. And you can clearly see they just keep passing this thing on and keep telling you it's nothing more than the boy who cried wolf. Yeah, trust me this time. Trust me this time. Trust me this time. How many times does someone need you to trust them before you realize they're a damn liar? And I'm going to use a quote from George Bush Jr., Dodo Bird Bush. You screw me once, shame on you. You screw me twice, well, you ain't gonna screw me twice. Seriously. You couldn't make this up. I can't make this up. I couldn't. Even if you said, Joe, listen, I want you to make up the most ridiculous, unfathomable thing that you could come up with that will happen in America, right? Not a third world country, not the Euro, not Russia, not China, America. The, freedom capital of the world, the most open market area, just, I couldn't make up something as ridiculous as what I just read you. You would laugh at something that I'd make up because it'd be stupid. And even then, I would argue that, well, that would never happen. Only to be outdone by my fictional story to a real story, such as this, which I could have never thought of in a million years. I have to pinch myself sometimes. Is this really happening? Economy's not getting better. Housing's not getting better. As a matter of fact, nothing's getting better. And it's slowly getting worse. When you have all this slowly getting worse, it finally boils over into something. And I can assure you, with precision timing, the government, the elite, they'll come out. This war in Syria, it'll start. It'll maybe trickle into Iran. Israel attacks Iran. We get the war going. Just in time that we need all kinds of people who are out of work. We got a job, guys. All you factories, which not that there's many left in America, and machinery places, hey, we know you guys are about to close the doors. Don't worry. We got a new government contract for you. You guys are about to make a bunch of money. Those of you who are out of work, we got another job for you guys. It's called Get Your Sorry Butt in the Military and go overseas, while the people who stay here will be manufacturing equipment for you guys to use, because we got to go get those bad guys. They're killing children in Syria. Didn't you just hear about the massacre? Huge massacre in Syria. Oh, but wait a minute. That was headlined from the BBC News. And it showed a picture of a little child jumping over lines of dead bodies in these white bags or sheets or something. Yet I thought if there was massacre, mostly the article said shot at like point blank or very close range, there'd probably be blood all over the place. And if you're wrapping it in something white, it's probably going to show red splotch marks all over the place. But it was pure white all the way down the line. Rows and rows and rows. This little kid jumping over it. And it comes to find out that that was a picture from 9 years ago, either in Iraq or Afghanistan or something like that. Had nothing to do with Syria, but the BBC is going to play that so that you at home in America, the freedom fighters of the world, you're going to get pissed off at Syria. Why are we waiting on a United Nations security resolutions when these people are dying in Syria? We're going to have to bypass the UN, and we are going to have to go in there ourselves, maybe with our buddies over in the UK, and handle this, because we cannot have this. We're Americans, and we don't stand up for this kind of brutality. That's true. But what if you've been lied to, as I just showed you, and that's a fact, by the way. They used a picture from 9 years ago. Now what? Now this agency, who's supposed to be your friend and my friend, because it's from the UK, the BBC, that's our ally. And the Associated Press runs with it, Reuters runs with it, Fox News, CNN, right? All the press, mainstream Western press runs with it. Those are our guys. That's our people. Why are they lying to us? Why is my own family lying to me? Especially on something very serious like that. And you can clearly see how they try to just form your opinion for you, so that when they say breaking news, oh, while we were sleeping last night, oh, President Obama signed an executive order, or whatever he did, gave the nod to go after Iran and Syria and so and whoever else. You're not going to have anyone, you're going to wake up the next day, you're going to go to work, you're not going to see a single damn person on the street protesting. You're not going to see a sign. As a matter of fact, you might see a few extra support our troops signs and flags on people's cars as they drive to work. Yes, get them. Just like the Roman Empire. This is nothing different. Now that we look back at the Roman Empire, we recognize the Roman Empire was at fault. Yet back then, during its time, it was the role model country, the role model civilization to be. Had the best equipment, the best weapons, the best boats, the best everything. Structures and building cathedrals, the big freaking gladiator matches that cost in today's dollars $1 billion, they said. The Colosseum. I mean, that couldn't be a bad guy. That wasn't like the Hitler of the time. That was what the role model of the world wanted to be like. Yet now that we look back, we recognize the Roman Empire was out of control. Expanding, creating wars, etc. As much as I love my country, we're doing the same thing, and it's not we. It's not like we are doing it. It's those who are in charge of us telling us fake stories like the BBC to allow us to agree with them. Oh, you're right, we need to do something about this. No, we don't, because we're being lied to. So, who's the ones lying to us? Well, we don't know where the BBC got it from, and maybe someone submitted a wrong photo, and sources say such and such. Well, who is sources? Sources say massacred. Sources who? People familiar with the matter. People familiar with the matter. Your Honor, I saw this car run over this person. Eyewitness testimony. Sir, this witness who doesn't even know you, saw you run him over, you're getting charged with manslaughter. Now let's fast forward to today's news. Your Honor, sources say this man hit this guy, ran him over with his car. Is the source here? Eyewitness? No. Who are the sources? They are people familiar with the matter. Are the sources or the people familiar with the matter present in court today? No, they're not, Your Honor. Then get the hell out of my courtroom. You're not a witness. Get the hell out of here before I throw you in jail. That might be how that went in a court of law, if you're lucky. But on the news, we just put whatever we want out there so we can get our people to back us. So if you have a defensive strategy, you don't need to offensively attack people. We don't need to get involved in other things. We wouldn't have these problems. But that's not the way the Roman Empire did it then. It's not the way we're going to do it now, because history repeats. It's a cycle. No matter how upset I get, no matter how happy I get, no matter how sad I get, no matter how bad I know or don't want something to happen, or no matter how intelligent I think I am or how informed on these matters I think I am, there's not a damn thing I can do to change a cycle. No matter how bad I want that sun to come out right now because it just got done raining, can't. Why? Because it's a rain cycle, right? Sunny, dark clouds, rain, cycle happens all the time. In other words, there's not a damn thing I can do about a cycle. So rather than get all pissed off, rather than get all upset, which it can be hard to at times, you got to agree, you have to just say everything that's happening right now is just happening as part of some grand cycle. Historical cycle, whatever you want to call it, it happens, it's supposed to happen. Unfortunately, you losing your job, you being out on the street potentially, you losing your house, you losing something that you didn't think this could happen to you in America, that's part of the cycle. And my job is to teach people about the cycle. So maybe one day in the future, we all recognize these cycles and put things into place so that we don't ever have to deal with this again. But if history is my guide, that's not going to be possible because cycles are hence cyclical. So I'm talking out of my rear end right now. So what can you do? You can prepare to deal with the cycles in advance, rather than have the cycle smack you in the face to start with and then deal with it, right? Would you rather know a car's coming and understand I'm going to get hit by it if I don't move and then move? Or would you rather get smacked by the car because you didn't think you could get hit in this street? This street that I'm standing in is called America. We don't get hit with cars here, son. It's America. Boom! Just got smashed. Now you got to get up. You got a broken leg, 5 broken ribs, etc. Now you're a changed man, but you're just one guy. You got to now tell everyone else that, hey, I was in America, the street called America. I got smashed by a car. It can't happen here. Well, it's too late. It's already happened. Now you got to deal with the recovery. Me, on the other hand, I see the damn car coming a mile away. I can see it coming light years away where you can't even see it, most people. Matter of fact, I'm going to step out of the way now. Joe, why are you stepping out of the way? Listen, there's not even a car coming. Oh, there's a car coming. As a matter of fact, it's a freight train. Oh, get the hell out of here. I can't even see nothing. You know, oh, okay. And then it gets a little closer. Can you see it now? No, I don't have time to look. Busy. Okay, it's right there barreling down now. Can you see it now? You really need to look now. It's important that you look now. I just don't believe in that kind of stuff, man. Can't you feel the ground shaking? Well, yeah, a little bit, but that's probably just, it happens, you know, little earthquakes and stuff. It happens all the time. No, that's a freight train coming to smash you. Get the hell out of the way. So how do you get the hell out of the way? Gold and silver, food storage, fantastic water filter. Due to the radiation problem we're now dealing with and the pollutants out of control right now, you've got city water all over the place, all over the country and probably the world, where they're finding trace amounts of all these people's medications that they are dumped on. Just incredible, because they go to the bathroom and then that gets flushed down the toilet, it gets reclaimed, recycled, etc. It's, quote, safe. And then we come check our own water and there's trace elements of all these pills that have caused more problems than they've actually cured that you are now getting in your body. So now you need to go and get a phenomenal filter system known as reverse osmosis for the most part, and drink water out of that so that you don't have to deal with this crap. So there's all these things you can do. These are all steps to move out of the way of the speeding freight train so it doesn't crush you when it hits you. Food storage, gold and silver. You're going to need some weapons to protect yourself, period, regardless of for what reason you think you need it for. It's a good idea to have some for home protection. And add reverse osmosis water filter to your list. I'll add another one. Stop watching mainstream news immediately. Only time you need to watch mainstream news. Only time you ever need to watch mainstream news is if some big event just took place somewhere, building fell over, massive earthquake struck, and you see helicopters or TV crews and they're out there filming live. That's the only time. If they're not out there filming live, turn it off. You're wasting your time. You're being programmed by the television to make you feel and think a certain way, yet you don't even realize you're feeling and thinking a certain way. You think you're reacting as anyone would react, which you are, but they're shoving something in your face that's fake, and they know it's fake. Yet, once they're exposed, most people said, well, yeah, okay, caught them, and then they go watch it again. George Bush. Screw me once, shame on you. Screw me twice, shame on me. Except that bozo couldn't think of it. So here comes little Ashley, my 3-year-old, letting me know to come on inside. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.